with the help of AI, you may no longer need to speak Japanese or understand it to work IT in Japan. That's the clickbait right there. Yeah, well, yes and no. This whole video is about that. I do think that at some point it will be so good that you probably don't have to speak Japanese to work IT in Japan. And I guess at that point you'll just offshore everything and just remove all the management in between. But yeah, that's what I want to talk about today. And it's something that I've been noticing for the last 6 months. I've been using Cursor quite a bit. Cursor, but all the soy devs are using, all the AI, all that stuff, all that good stuff. ChatGPT, I'm using all of it. I'm using all of the AI, and yeah, I'm noticing something with the language. Not about language learning, but working tech or working in general, not in your native language or third language or fourth language. So we're gonna do that. And look, if we do that, like, sub, hit me up on our LinkedIn, jump on the Discord. I'm trying to keep it real chill tonight, okay, fellas? We're gonna keep it real chill. Keep it real chill. So the first thing I want to tell, my backstory. Some of you don't know who I am. I've been working tech in Japan my 10th year now, coming to the end, and it's most of it, 90% of it is working in Japanese. Look, I'm not some expert AJETA. I'm just a soy dev who works tech jobs, IT, front end, soy stack. What's the stack I do? Well, I've been doing, let me quickly read my notes here. React, JS, TypeScript, Node.js, Vue, Express, SQL, AWS, and the Google Cloud, like all the RDS, all that BS, or whatever you do to get a job around here. I've been doing it for the past 10 years, and of course all web, mostly web, a bit of a smartphone or the React Native, but nothing native. So that's the kind of backstory of what I've been doing, for this time, and where the whole language using Japanese at work has always been. I've always, in my videos, I've always told people, if you want to work IT in Japan, you should learn Japanese. And I always say, like, there's like a level of like into try and speak a bit. I do push that quite a lot, and it's not just for the work, just out of respect. If you go into a country, try and learn the language, learn the culture, like I have, and like many of the guys in the server have of the Discord. Just checking my notes down here. So I want to tell you then, with every part in working tech in Japan, or working tech in general, what type of Japanese would I need to learn, or you will need to learn and need to know to make everything work. I want to go over this from my experience. Of course, you cannot get away with not speaking Japanese at an interview. So that's probably the biggest hurdle. The biggest hurdle is the interviews. I'm a freelance, so I work as a freelance engineer. I'm not an engineer, sorry, soy stacker. And the interview is the hardest part. And that is something I don't think you can use. That's the only part where I think you can't really use AI for. Unless there's already some technologies out there. If you guys can link me up on that technology where it automatically translate. Like I'm talking about interviews online, not in real person. Because once you go into a real person, that's just stressful, right? Everyone gets stressed out IRL, face to face. But I'm talking about interviews online. Okay, so the online interviews, or even offline, online or offline, you need a decent amount of Japanese. And I always say you need N2, but it's not just the N2 you need some type of listening and speaking skills. And it just really annoys me. This just really annoys me. Some of you guys out, even in Japan here, you have like N3 and you act like you can speak, but I know you can't. I'm not saying I'm just saying be a little humble. Just be a little humble with your language learning, language acquisition, language skill set. And I get it. Like you talk to girls, and okay, that's great. Have you talked to a geek about the programming language you're using? Have you talked to a project manager about where you are at in the current project? You know, how many more hours? You know, all these kinds of discussions that probably won't happen when you're talking to girls at the hub. It happens real work in real work situations, and you've got Keg, or you've got is this guy my senior or my junior? You know, I've got all this context. So, of course, interview, tricky. The hardest part, the next part is the daily stand-up. Most of it is you're working off online, so it's remote. So you might have some help there with like real-time translating. If you're in real life IRL in the office, this is really hard to use AI. Maybe some of you guys, if you do that, let me know. If you do use some type of software that just quickly translates everything for you and gives you context in real time. So those two things, I think we can't. It's quite difficult to. I don't want to say the word cheat, but I want to say make it so you don't have to speak the language to pass. So we're going to put those two aside. Look, this is going to take a long time, guys. So you better sit down, get a coffee, or just watch this on the side while you're soy stacking your day job. And of course, I think the meat and potatoes of most of your work is in your code editor, in Slack, messaging everyone. And the third one would be like your task manager. Oh, that's your third. Some type of task manager, Kanban. I don't know how you guys are using, some Agile, Jira tickets. The fourth one would be your GitHub or whatever you use to manage the code. So those 4 areas, and I've noticed in the last 6 months, I've only started using AI for coding and work in the last 6 months, is that Slackbase, you can get AI to help you out with all this. Translate everything in context or use reference of your code, because it can see your code on your editor. So if you just screenshot all the Slack comments based on whatever issue or ticket you're on, any issue that you are having, you can throw that into your AI text editor, whatever you're using, give it some context, and spit out the right answer. Not the right answer, but what you should be saying. And you can tell if you're like N3 or strong in like N3, N2, you kind of know what would be. You kind of understand that you're not the greatest language speaker, so you can tell the AI, oh, you know what, I'm only like N3, N2 level, make it believable. Because you don't want to start messaging like perfect Song Kegel, like you're the master of. It's like, okay, this guy's obviously using AI, but if you just tell the AI, this is my level, never act so polite, because you would just give it away or be real strange. So you got to keep you have to keep your standard. You have to be consistent with your standard, and that's quite something hard to do with AI, unless you program it to do that. So Slackbase, you just copy and paste all the text, and it can help you out. Doesn't matter who you're talking to. In context, you just say look, AI, this is QA, so how would I reply respectfully? It's not QA in my company, it's another company. It can help. And that's the most difficult part with Japanese, is the whole context. Maybe this is all languages in general, but I've found that Japanese is, you've got to read, sometimes you have to read between the lines, or things are not straightforward. The next one is Task Manager, and I've noticed this is so good. You don't have to, before I started using any AI or ChatGPT to read issue tickets, I would read them. If I didn't understand some kanji, I'll put it into a Google Translate or something. But you'll still have to. It wouldn't be so. It would be accurate, but there'll be times when you'll be confused. Like, what do I do? So you can ask AI based on this message thread, what do I do? Like, what am I meant to do? What do they want me to do? That's something I think you guys out there who work in Japanese companies might also find. And maybe it's not perfect, but maybe 95% of the time it's all right. This is a time saver. And it also means I don't have to stress or focus too hard on understanding what needs to be done. That's like half the issue with us gaijins out there. Half of the time trying to understand what do we do, what do I have to do. Okay, next one is coding comments. Like I didn't really write comments before. I thought like, okay, you just write the code. Look, everyone knows a React app. I'm not going to hit you with some real unique, like some crazy design pattern. If it's atomic design, okay, great. We all know how atomic design. You've got your little flair to it. You add your own, like, what do you use, Jotai now? Okay, you put your Jotai into your, you know what I mean? You just add your little flair, but it's all the same. It's all the same. It's a chat app or something. It's all the same. So coding comments all can be written in Japanese now. I'm not writing any of that, and I'm not coding any of that. AI can do all that for the cheap price of $200 a month. That's how much I spend on AI now. You think that's expensive? Do you know how cheap that is? $200. I would pay up to $1,000 a month. If it keeps getting better, it's worth $1,000 a month. For me, that is. For you, maybe that's like half your income. You get peanut dev jobs in Japan. Maybe that's your income. But for me, up to 1,000, 2,000, not sure. Okay, next one is, the last one here is documentation, pull request, and reviews. I just put them all together. Documentation, we all suck at coding, I get it. We all soy devs, I get it. But documentation is extremely difficult to do at a level that is like acceptable in the professional software world. Like you have to have before you'd have to have like some type of masters in writing documents, like a proper documentator. Is that a word? Someone who writes documents, the docs person. But now AI can write all the docs for you. And this has been amazing. I've never written docs before. I have written docs, those terrible docs. But now you just go, look, can you, based on everything we've made so far, can you write some specification of documentation about what we have done, make it clean and keep it within the standard? Like maybe there's a standard in your task manager or your Jira, whatever you have, there's a standard. Just say, follow the standard, do all this in Japanese. And saves you time, save me a few hours. Just save me a few hours. Save me an hour. Just does it in like, 1 minute. Writes all the documentation. Exactly what I need. The last two, of course, is, I just said it, the pull request and reviews. Of course, other Japanese engineers are reviewing your code, and you are also reviewing other people's codes. So the hardest part in Japanese is like, how do I say this politely? Or if I say it this way, does it sound too pushy? You don't want to be rude in your pull requests. Or some of you guys do. That's what you live off. But ideally, you want to be respectful, but you also want to give some critique on something you don't agree with, or maybe you think something should be fixed. AI does this perfectly. As long as you have like a strong N3, weak N2, a few years in Japan, so you understand the whole kuki yomenai, the can't read the room, I think you can kind of get a clean answer from AI. And when now add up all these mini tasks and get AI to do it for you, you've saved like 4 hours of your day. This is amazing, guys. And it's only getting better? I don't know, is it? You tell me. Is it worth $200 that I'm spending to do all the code and all the translating and everything? You just check it afterwards. So yeah, maybe you don't need AJAT level Japanese to work IT in Japan anymore. You just need a strong N3, weak N2. And you'll pick up the rest as you go. And if it's difficult to say in a meeting, maybe just everything's Slack based. Maybe everything's Slack based. This AI can understand context, right? You give it context. Give it context in multiple languages. Should be fine. So, yeah, this has been a long time talking. What do you guys think about this? Is anyone out there using some type of LLM to help with your language, not learning, usage of a second language? And if so, is it that good? Am I glazing it? Is it not as good as you think it is? Or is it as good as I'm telling you it is? And you're saving, what, 3 hours? At least 2 hours a day, not fiddling around with language issues. Anyway, that's it for me. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you in the next one.